Penn State is going to Jordan-Hare Stadium to play Auburn, a 3:30 Eastern kick. Penn State is favored by 3 points. And this, to me, I have it written on my notes, blue-collar game of the week. Both these teams want to be physical. Both these teams want to play tough defense. Both these teams want to stop the run. Something has got to give. For Auburn, this is a revenge game. Because you remember they went to Happy Valley last year in whiteout conditions. I feel like they should have won that game. That's the feeling in-house. We feel like we very easily could have won that game a year ago. So they're going to circle the wagons. A lot's happened, obviously, in Auburn, Alabama since then. But they're going to go in there with TJ Finley at quarterback. I went back and watched the game they played against San Jose State. And in a word, a little bit sloppy. In the first half alone, they had 8 penalties for 70-plus yards, and the operation was not clean. I mean, they're just struggling to get the thing going. And you look like your second game of the year, which is okay. So does it concern you a lot? In-house, at least, they're saying we got to get this fixed. At the very least, they're saying we got to find a way to be sound operationally. We can't have this kind of sloppiness. So is it necessarily something you got to write home about and be super concerned about? I think we'll see how much it hurts you in this game. So if they're going to be sloppy, if they're going to be operationally out to lunch, you can't make those mistakes against Penn State and still be able to be in this football game. The game plan for Auburn: feed Tank Bigsby. Feed that man. Feed number 4. Allow him to get going, because they sputtered a little bit early offensively in the first half against San Jose State. When they really got going was when Tank Bigsby got going, when that offensive line got a push. That's what's going to have to be the flavor of the day for Auburn. If they can get 3 yards here, 4 yards there, start to slowly wear down this Penn State defense, that's going to make all the difference in the world. Because then it opens up something for TJ Finley. It opens up what he wants to do down the field. He's got a big arm. He made some great throws against San Jose State. I was impressed at times with TJ Finley. There are other times where I'm saying, my guy, what are you doing? We can't be making throws like that. We can't be making decisions like that. That's going to be a really interesting hinge point for this game. Because, again, a lot of it varies on how much you can get in the run game for Auburn. Now, an X factor for the Tigers, what do you get from Robbie Ashford in this game? Because let me tell you, he is real deal fast. On that read option, when he decides to pull it, when that defensive end decides he wants to crash, Robbie Ashford gets out the back door quick, fast, in a hurry. He is a dude with the ball in his hands. Also had some struggles in the pass game last week. I'll be curious to see how much they ask of him there. But he could be the guy that ultimately makes the difference for Auburn to win this game. Because if they take away Tank Bigsby, if they want to try and ratchet down on the pass game, Robbie Ashford could sort of be that ace up your sleeve for Auburn. So we'll see what happens there, but excited to see how he's utilized and what his role is going forward in a big-time game like this in Jordan-Hare. My other question for Auburn, can you stretch the field when Penn State does say, all right, enough of that? We're Penn State. We've given up less than 100 yards a game right now on the year. We're not going to let you run the ball anymore. Maybe they allow it to go on for a quarter, quarter and a half. Maybe it's the whole first half. Maybe it's 3 quarters. But when Penn State says, we're not going to let you run the ball anymore, if they have the ability to do that, assuming, can TJ Finley and this receiving core, can they find a way to stretch the field vertically and make them pay? Because that's going to be crucial. When you want to run the ball and that's your attitude and that's your identity, that's great. But to have something off of that is equally important and needs to be the case for Auburn to win this game. So for Penn State, kind of a similar theme, if you will. We talked about it, blue-collar game of the week. Can you generate a ground game? Because we talked about that for the majority of the offseason. Penn State having that ever-elusive 100-yard rushing game. They got it last week in Nick Singleton. He is a stick of dynamite, former 5-star recruit, a guy they expect to be the future in Happy Valley. They're excited about him. Can he have an encore in a big-time matchup against Auburn in that SEC front 7? Can they generate something on the ground game to allow Sean Clifford to cook? Because that was sort of the issue previously. Folks didn't have to try and honor the fact that Penn State was going to try and run the ball because they couldn't. They weren't able to get anything going. And so as a defense, you say, you can't run the ball? Good luck, quarterback. We're coming after you. Generating something on the ground game will help Sean Clifford. And Sean Clifford, been playing football now for 47 years at Penn State. He's got some experience. You don't think that makes a little bit of a difference when it comes to an intense environment at Jordan-Hare? You don't think that maybe helps give Penn State a just slight edge in this one? Experienced quarterback, TJ Finley and Robbie Ashford, unexperienced quarterbacks. So that's that. For Auburn, when it comes to trying to stop Penn State, and Penn State for trying to keep the keep the offense moving, keep the chains moving, can you avoid these passing downs? Can you avoid having 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9? Because when that happens, again, that's where Auburn wants to get you at if you're Penn State. And Sean Clifford, for as experienced as he is, for all the ability he has, that's not a spot you want to be in on the road. So those are, I think, sort of the two variables I'm watching for both teams. Create some space for your quarterback in the run game, be able to answer in the pass game. That's the big deal in this game. So our prediction for this one, I think Penn State's maturity is just so crucial. Having a guy like Sean Clifford heading into this environment, the uncertainty around Auburn, the pressure on Auburn to win this game, the conversation around Bryan Harsin's job to win this game. I'm not saying if Penn State does beat Auburn that Bryan Harsin's fired, don't get it twisted, but for all the uncertainty that's surrounded him from this past offseason, this would be a very meaningful win for Bryan Harsin. For James Franklin and company, I think that their maturity and the experience and the toughness they've proven they have, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and what they're going to do with Nick Singleton in this game allows them to win this game. So I think it's a close one. I think it is an absolute dogfight. Well, I guess they're both sort of cats. So an absolute cat fight, if you will, a big cat fight. I think Penn State wins this one 27-24. So if you like -3, you push. If it moves at all, you know where we fall on this one. We think Penn State wins this game. I think they win it by 3. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.